ब्रह्मार्पणम् ब्रह्महविर् ब्रह्माग्नो ब्रह्मणाहुतम् ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यम् ब्रह्मकर्म समाधिनः अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
O Lord, Thou art the food. Thou art the enjoyer of the food. Thou art the giver and preparer of the food. Along with the inward and outward breaths, You are the digestive fire that digests all types of food. We offer to You all that we consume.
The act of offering is God. The oblation is God. By God it is offered into the fire of God. God is that which is to be attained by him who performs actions pertaining to God. Becoming the live fire in the bodies of living beings, mingling with the subtle breaths, digest the 4 kinds of food. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Om Peace Peace Peace.
Sairam, dear brothers and sisters. In honor of Swami's 95th birthday, the Asheville group presented a multifaceted project to our region's Seva coordinator. Subsequently, it was selected as part of the Adopt a Community program regionally and nationally. Our goal was to identify a community with numerous needs which could be addressed and supported by a diverse set of Seva opportunities. The project is multifaceted and will require many competencies and wisdom from our Sai community. In order for this initiative to be successful, a collaborative effort will be required involving participation from many devotees. Through our love and dedicated service, this project holds the potential for a transformational experience. Alida has adapted to the needs of the community. Transitioning from an orphanage, Alida developed foster care programming when there was a nationwide shift away from the traditional children's home model. As mental health issues in children came into greater focus, Elida also developed state-of-the-art residential treatment facilities and expanded foster care services to include therapeutic foster care. As women entered the workforce, Elida added childcare and preschool services. In Elida's recent history, they recognized that youth were aging out of foster care and failing in traditional post-secondary education. The organization, once again, adapted to meet this community need with the Elida Students Training for Advancement program known as ESTA. This program provides workforce development programming for this population of youth, as well as housing assistance to prevent homelessness.
I was having a really hard time. My adoptive mother had put me out during my senior year. In the mix, I got pregnant too. We were having to sleep on couches and move place to place. There would be days I'd come in just stressed out, crying, not knowing what to do. So I didn't have any help. I had a son coming and I had to get it together.
There are times when we have to call up our family or people that we know and ask for help. For these students, that's not necessarily an option for them.
I just told them my situation and they really just started helping me out bit by bit.
Oftentimes what we're seeing with students starting the program is that they're facing severe housing instability. So we address their housing needs, their food instability, their clothing needs, their education, their mental health needs, and anything else that could potentially be keeping them from getting and keeping a job. Jeanette is one of our students that utilizes our emergency shelter program, and they're able to utilize that for 3 to 6 months to help them until they're able to find permanent housing solutions.
And they moved into the apartment, and slowly I just started getting stuff together, started working and feeling better about myself.
Each student is able to identify for themselves what are their needs that they want to have addressed.
When I got here, my goals were first to get in a stable living situation with my newborn son, and they've helped me apply to childcare places. They help us make resumes and being able to apply to jobs. Now I'm just trying to work on getting me a car and hopefully getting into school. It was nice having support.
You can be smart, you can have all your ducks in a row, and then life happens. Obstacles are going to come. It's how you clear the hurdles. To be able to handle the things that she's handled, if I didn't know the story, you would never know she had a story. It gave me so much joy to see the growth in her. No matter what those challenges are and what they have been, her light never went out. Never.
Since being in the ESTA program, I've definitely just felt more confident about myself. I was really going through it and dealing with my depression and anxiety, and having a good support system is really important. That's really helped motivate me. I feel more stable. I feel like I have a better chance of making it out in the world with my son.
founded in 1906, is a nonprofit agency serving children and families' needs in western North Carolina. ALIDA's mission is simple: helping children succeed. Situated on a 300-acre campus in Asheville, ALIDA serves children from newborns to young adults. ALIDA offers multiple services: residential and day treatment for high-risk children, including children who have been physically abused, sexually abused, and neglected. ALIDA's core values are faith, hope, and love, honoring the intrinsic value and dignity of each child. The staff provides an environment of unconditional love and respect to encourage the development of spiritual growth and self-confidence. This strong foundation is established to help a child achieve his potential. No child is ever turned away. The Asheville group heard Swami's call to help this institution. After multiple meetings with administration, the most pressing needs were identified. Initiatives including EHV training for staff, a medical fair for ALIDA students and uninsured families, followed a few months later by a medical camp, dental camp, and eye examinations were being considered. Several programs were designed and ready to launch prior to the pandemic. Teachers and staff suffer from burnout, resulting in a high turnover and diminished productivity. A wellness program to address these problems would include a support group for staff, sessions on mindfulness, meditation, journaling, nutrition, yoga, exercise, and inspirational speakers. 3 meditation rooms would be created to provide a quiet, relaxation space for rejuvenation. In addition, instructions on nonviolent communication would be offered to both staff and students. The ALIDA Students Training for Advancement, ESTA, is a novel program to introduce teens and young adults back into the community. Through a mentorship program, volunteers have the opportunity to meet with a student several times a month to serve as a role model, which most have not had during their formative years. Students would also benefit from remote tutoring, as they are significantly behind in their academic skill sets compared to their peers due to the trauma they have suffered. The need for donations and supplies and personal care items is ongoing. For our vision of support for ALIDA, this ambitious project will require the talents, love, and hard work of our Greater Psi family. With Swami's grace, ALIDA was selected to be one of the regional and national Adopt a Community initiatives. Together, we can bring Baba's message of love, a beacon of hope, to the ALIDA community.
Love is my path, truth is my breath, this is my truth.
Life with Sai is an endless hope. Life without Sai is a hopeless end. In this time and moment, how are we to live with Sai? This timeless classic of Sant Kabir Das has the answer. Moko kahan dhoonde re bande, O friend, where do thou search for me? मैं तो तेरे पास में, I am near you. मैं हूँ विश्वास में, I am in your faith. मैं तो तेरे श्वास में, I am in your every breath. This secret has been unraveled by Swami for us through his life and message. And all of his life and message is embedded in his sweet name, S-A-I. Join us on this journey to unravel this secret.
मेरे साई मन मेरो लागे ना तेरे बिना रे अखियाँ तेरे दर्शन की प्यासी मन मेरो लागे ना तेरे बिना रे मन मेरो लागे ना तेरे बिना रे अखियाँ तेरे दर्शन की प्यासी अखियाँ तेरे दर्शन की प्यासी जीवन ज्योत जलाओ साई मेरे जीवन ज्योत जलाओ साई मेरे मन मेरो लागे ना तेरे बिना रे तेरी छवि अति सुंदर केश ये है घुंघराले निराले नयन कमल अति मोहक मादक रंजित ये अधरारे इस छवि को हम मन में रख कर तेरे गुण को गाए तेरे गुण को गाए मन मंदिर में आओ साई मंदिर में आओ साई साई भगवान दर्शन दिखाओ साई भगवान दर्शन दिखाओ Swami, we, your children, miss your beautiful form amidst us. Where have you left us for? Where can we find you? ढूंढे रे बंदे मैं तो तेरे पास में ना तीरथ में ना मूरत में ना एकांत निवास में मुझको कहा ढूंढे रे बंदे मैं तो तेरे पास में मैं तो तेरे पास में
Where do you search for me? I am right next to you. Look around. I am the indweller of every being. Serve every fellow man, and through service you shall live with me.
हर प्राणी में बाबा सब प्रेम करो, सब प्रेम करो, मेरा प्रसन्न दीन दुखियों से प्रेम करो, मेरा साई प्रसन्न होगा। दीन दुखियों से प्रेम करो, मेरा मेरा साई प्रसन्न होगा, मेरा साई प्रसन्न होगा, मेरा साई प्रसन्न होगा, मेरा साई प्रसन्न होगा। मुझको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे, मैं तो हूँ विश्वास में, मैं तो हूँ विश्वास में। अल्लाह अकबर। ఏడుకొండలవాడ వెంకటరమణ గోవింద గోవింద హర మహాదేవ్ హర హర మహాదేవ్। Hallelujah, praise be the Lord।
जो बोले सोनिहाल सत श्री अकाल।
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि, जो नाम चाहो वो नाम बोलो।
My child, not only do I reside in all, I also reside in your faith, Vishwas. Call me by any name and I shall respond to you. Chant my name from a heart suffused with love and feeling. Through adoration, you shall live with me.
प्रेम से बोलो, भाव से बोलो, गोविंद बोलो, गोपाल बोलो, गोविंद बोलो, गोपाल बोलो, राम राम बोलो, हरि नाम बोलो, राम राम बोलो, हरि श्वास में
I am within you as the sound that reverberates through the cosmos. Become one with that sound, and you shall be one with me.
शयन सपन में साइयों
in every breath of your being. I am in your every breath in the form of Soham. Let this be your constant mantra to remind you how close I am to you. Through this illumined mind, you will live with me. Soham, Soham.
सोहम सोहम याद करो सोहम सोहम याद करो सोहम ब्रह्मा सोहम विष्णु सोहम ब्रह्मा सोहम विष्णु सोहम साई ध्यान करो सोहम साई ध्यान करो सोहम आत्मा शिव परमात्मा सोहम आत्मा शिव परमात्मा ब्रह्मानंद से हृदय भरो सोहम सोहम याद करो
My dear one, living with Sai means to live in S, service, A, adoration, and I, illumination. Through this service, I am close to you.
मैं तो तेरे पास में
Through adoration, I am dear to you.
मैं तो विश्वास में
Through illumination, you and I are one.
मैं तो तेरे श्वास में
Sai Ram, dear brothers and sisters. Thank you for rejoining the Labor Day retreat programs. We'll soon get started with a panel discussion on the topic, Service to Man is Service to God. Let me take this opportunity to pray for Swami's mercy on the victims of Hurricane Ida. Dear brothers and sisters, we are witnessing a fury of Mother Nature in the form of wildfires, storms, floods, droughts, and earthquakes, and pandemic diseases. May Swami grant us wisdom to do the right actions in taking care of the Mother Earth. Sai Ram, dear all, we are very fortunate to have the opportunity to interact with three humble and dedicated instruments of Swami, sharing their experience on three distinct service activities. It's my greatest honor to moderate this panel discussion. By the way, this is a live session. If you'd like to ask any questions to the panel, please send them to the email admin@sssgc-usa.org. And let me start with introducing our panelists. First one is Dr. Geeta Kamath. Dr. Geeta came to Swami's fold when she was only 10 years old. Swami has played a very big role in her life, whether it is becoming a doctor, her marriage, or practice of medicine. She had the privilege of getting direct guidance regarding service activities during her multiple interviews with Swami. She has been a practicing hematologist and oncologist in St. Petersburg, Florida since 1981. She participated in yearly medical camps during Swami's birthday celebrations in Prashanthi since 1975. She started conducting medical camps here in USA, starting in St. Petersburg, Florida since 2004. Dr. Geeta served as the medical director for Region 3, and now she is the member of Zonal Advisory Committee for Global Council. Welcome, Dr. Geeta Kamath. And the second panelist is Brother Rajan Gayal. Brother Rajan was born in Uganda and later moved to Kenya, India, England, and finally made New Jersey his home. That was in 1982. He got his education in England and worked mostly in the area of information systems. Brother Rajan has been a devotee since early 1972 when he was in England. In fact, he was instructed by Swami to start the Manchester Sai Center in 1981. He served Swami's organization in many roles, including as the regional president for Region 2, vice president, and regional service coordinator. Both he and his wife have been actively involved in the disaster relief efforts worldwide since 2001, and the most recent ones being in the Bahamas and now in Haiti. Rajanji has been instrumental in developing NDRT policy and guidelines with SSIO. And now we are so glad that he is a member of the Advisory Council for Zone 1 with Global Council and the chair of SSSGC, Zonal Disaster Relief Committee. Sai Ram, Rajanji, welcome to you. And the last panelist is Falguni Desai. Sister Paul, as popularly known, has been in Swami's fold since 1975. Her first visit to Brindavan and Puttaparthi at his lotus feet was in 1980. She has held center officer positions of devotional coordinator, vice president, and president over the many years at Farmington Center in Connecticut. She has been the female YA advisor for Region 1. Currently, she is the treasurer of the Prashanthi Trust, Inc., a US nonprofit 501c3 organization blessed by Swami in 1992. Sister Paul will share with us on a few extraordinary service projects that she has had the opportunity to coordinate during COVID times. And dear viewers, the format of this panel discussion will be, the first 60 minutes will be going around and question and answers from the panel. And then the last 30 minutes, we will be happy to take questions live from the audience and then entertain those questions. Once again, just let me share my screen real quick so I can put up the email address. So the email to send questions is admin@sssgcusa.org. Sairam, Sister Fall, we're going to start with you. Can you please share with us what's your most favorite quote of Swami on service?
Aram, brothers, and thank you for allowing me to share our work, and thank you, Swami, to allow this work to be shared. So I think you've taken my quote, service to man is service to God. I think really speaks everything. That if we can see Swami in all and serve them in that way, that we are serving him. So I would say that would probably be my top quote.
Very, very good. And Sister Geeta, what's your favorite quote of Swami on service?
Oh, that's a very tricky question for me because I love them all. I collect service codes. I don't know for how many years. So it was a tough task for me to find the favorite one. But because of the service camps, I chose 3 of them. One of them is, God will not ask you when and where did you do service. He will ask with what motive did you do it? What was the intention that prompted you? God seeks quality, and this is the most important thing, quality, the purity of mind, and the nobility of the motive. This is one of my favorites. Second one is to see everyone else as yourself, and yourself in everyone is the core of the spiritual discipline of service. This makes us give, when we do service, everything we have first class, just like we do it for ourselves. When we give it to others also, we give the same thing. And this was a very important quote because this is what Swami shows us in Prashanthi Nilayam. He never gives us anything second hand, second class, none of that. Everything done in the super specialty hospitals, general hospitals, everything we do is first class. That is because we are able to see ourselves in other self. That's the most important. And the last one is my favorite because I call on him during my medical camps. I call it a speed dial quote. What I say is, all you have to do is to ask for my help, Swami says. I require no time to travel. My presence is certain everywhere where I am sincerely thought of. In fact, your thought of me and my presence are instantaneous. And I have tested this quote so many times during my disaster times during the camps or any service activities. And I urge all the young adults especially to try this because he comes through each and every time. Sairam.
Thank you. And Rajanji, what's your favorite quote on Swami?
Can you share the screen? I wanted to bring it up in a slide if it is possible.
Let me see. You should be able to, yes.
So I don't know to get it. I should go to the partial, I guess.
Or you can read out if you want.
Yeah. So can you see it now?
Not yet.
So I'll read it first, but I think I need this sharing option. So just as two wings are essential for a bird to fly, prema, love, and seva, selfless service, are essential for man to reach his destination, that is goal. So the goal could be spiritual or a seva task or a disaster relief service effort. So, but you need both prema as well as seva, then serving selflessly. So those two are very important, two important parameters for me. And that's why I love this quote. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. While we figure out a way to let you share screens, let me switch back to Sister Paul. Sister Falguni, my question to you is, COVID caught everybody by surprise, and unbelievable the amount of the fear and anguish it has caused all over the world. I cannot think of even one single country that was spared. So we wanted to know what kind of seva projects specifically related to COVID that you have personally done and coordinated overseas, especially in India. Can you please share some details?
Yeah, sure. So we have been, this year especially, was quite a big task. Last year's COVID that hit India, we had done some work, did some dry, fresh food packages that were distributed. So we're working with the Seva organization, the India Seva organization, the national team, and seeing their needs, and then we try to support that way. So as you mentioned, Prashanthi Trust is a nonprofit organization in this country that was established in 1992 and blessed by Swami. And let me show you just that slide. Give me 1 second. It was, sorry. I can share now. Can you see this? You can see my slide, right?
Yes, please.
Just put it to full screen. So it was in 1992 when Swami blessed Uncle Ramesh, who was the president, and my father there, and gave full okay blessings. And as you can see, there is the name he corrected, he blessed it to go ahead with the work. At the time, it was just set up as doing seva work here. We didn't know the scope of what was going to happen later on. But we've done many projects over the years since then. But this COVID year was the big task. And the work that was done, you can see here, we had the concentrators that were dispatched. There were 2 mini O2 high flow plants that went into the rural areas of the villages in India. 2 large oxygen plants that are being established at the super specialty hospitals in Puttaparthi and Whitefield. We worked with the alumni in India who were doing live emergency calls and supported them with the O2 concentrators. And then there was, of course, the packages for meals and across Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Karnataka, that were worked, all this again was worked with the Save Our organizations and the local state dry rations packages that would last for 30 days in all the states. Telemedicine support. One of our board members, Dr. Kalpalata from Houston, was leading a telemedicine support from the U.S. by doctors to doctors in India. So they were doing that on a daily basis. PPE packages that were sent from here to help the hospital and the local Prashanthi support group. So, we try to help as much as we can in such a short amount of time. It was in April time that it was, the emergency relief that was needed. And we had to get these things done as quickly as possible to help as quickly as possible. So, of course, our, people here in this country, donors came across and really came forward to be able to do these works. And this is some of the slides that were taken with the relief work and the packages that were given in Kashmir. They were high flow concentrators also that were specially given, and the dry rations for the people there. This was something that the children, I think, in some of the Samitis created the covers for the fresh food and meals, and were given there. So, a lot of work went into it. We were very happy with the results, and as quickly as the COVID went up, the need as quickly as it went down as well. So we were happy that we were able to give them what they needed. Some of the stories that were heart-wrenching, that is just, again, Swami at work.
Very, very good. Also, next question is to you. Like any other project, service projects that we take, especially if it happens to be overseas, I can only imagine the number of challenges that one may face in setting everything up and making sure everything goes as expected. So can you please very quickly share with us what kind of challenges that you had to face and overcome? And also this part two of the question, as you continue to go, is what was the the attitude that you had to adopt to overcome those challenges? Thank you.
That's a great question, brother. The challenges were there on both sides, right? Working within India was, and then during this COVID time. So first challenge I can think of is working, sending the monetary transfer to the organization to be able to support them. Just about a month or a couple months before, the government of India had put in a new process for transferring funds to nonprofits in India. And it had to go through the one particular branch of State Bank of India in Delhi. So when all this COVID relief started coming up, there was relief being done all over the world and transfers being sent. And of course, to buy concentrators, they need the money to get it there, to buy it. And what we found was we had made transfers, and what normally would take hours or a day took 2 weeks to 3 weeks of time. And so the funding was being held up. And with Swami's grace, we tried to push that along and quickly get them the funding. So that was one challenge. And that challenge being there, the national organization to buy concentrators was held up. And so we had to look for other means to get them these concentrators. So we worked with a group and some of our alumni here in this country, in US, and found a company in the US that was willing to help us get it there. So with shipping challenges, trying to find the best pricing and getting them as quickly as possible was another challenge on both sides, finding the right ones. Not too many of us were familiar with what is a concentrator. First of all, we didn't even know. And then trying to find the right ones because, people trying to make money. And so the prices for concentrators had dramatically doubled overnight. And so facing those challenges and getting it to them was another big task. Working with the teams in India, they were working tirelessly. We were working with some of the alumni there, national team, overnight, our nights, their days. But everyone was working on both sides tirelessly and, trusting Swami that he gives us the guidance to find the right path. And at the end of the day, yes, it did get there, and we saw him throughout in every step of the way.
Very, very good. Thank you so much. Let me go to Dr. Geeta. Dr. Geeta, can you please share with us when and how the first medical camp service in the United States, when did that come about?
I think she's on mute.
She's on mute, yeah.
Sorry.
Our camp in St. Petersburg area started in 2004. But prior to that, in USA, there were service camps that were going on in St. Louis, Chicago area. Radha Bhatina was instrumental in starting the service camps in this country. And she encouraged me to do that. When I first started camps, I was doing only in India because of the legal issues in this country. It was a real battle how to bypass the legal issues. But Swami encouraged me to start doing medical work because he said, there are many, many people to do other kind of work. Example, working in the soup kitchen, in other places, there are other people to do it. You are a doctor and you should be giving your valuable time on the weekends doing medical service. Because up until that time, I used to think about my comfort because I didn't want to be a doctor on the weekend. I wanted to have some easy time. But with Swami, that doesn't work. You are supposed to do what you are meant to do. So he said, you have to do medical service. So when I first came here with the help of Radha Bhatina, I started our first service camp in downtown St. Petersburg. It was a very small camp, about 114 people. It started in Salvation Army. Actually, the camp went very well. In fact, we got great reviews about the camp, how the quality was maintained. Everybody was happy. And from then on, the service camps got bigger and bigger. 2005 was bigger. And as you can see some of the slides, it happened in a Coliseum. where entire Southeast region joined us actually for the camp, where we saw about 1,200 people in one camp. But during every camp, people would ask, I wish you can treat us. You know, there are screening camps is one place where you don't have a patient-doctor relationship, because there are certain things go under service camp. You can take a blood pressure, you can check a blood sugar, you can do a pap smear, but there is no connection between, there's no relation between the doctor and the patient. So legally, nobody can come after the doctor for doing that. That's the difference between the screening camp and the treatment camp, because service camp is the safest camp, and then you can do certain things. But during every survey, during service camps, they would ask us for 3 kinds of help. One is dental, second one is eye, and the third one was the podiatry, the foot care. Because these 3 services were not covered by the service, by many of the insurances in this country. So, and I did not know how to change that from a screening camp to a treatment camp. You want me to go over to that, brother? Okay.
Yes, please.
In one of the interviews, I asked Swami about that, about the legal issues, how difficult it is to do the treatment, because Swami always encourages you to give the final product. You know, in fact, for example, the mobile vans were going in Puttaparthi villages where Swami said, you take the mobile vans and you bring the patients back to Prashanthi Nilayam. You are not able to, example, drain a hepatic abscess in a mobile van in Puttaparthi. Why do you bring patients? In the village itself, you should be able to give that care. With that in mind, you know, and with Swami's grace, when I came back to US, I started going to a free clinic and started working in the free clinic. It is a county clinic where you develop relationship with your community people and all the directors, the CEOs of the community at a different level. And I was able to start a Saturday clinic where I was able to see the patients under the umbrella of the pre-clinic. And that was very important because all your legal problems will be solved if you work under a county because they will cover your legal costs and everything. So that's when I try to differentiate a screening camp and a treatment camp, which you can see on the slide. Screening camp can be done under Satyasai organization. I wasn't doing treatment camps under Satyasai organization, but I was keeping his teachings in our heart and practicing that teaching. And that's the difference between a screening and a treatment camp. In a screening camp, you can do anywhere in the town. You can do it in the church, you can do it in the schools, but treatment camp is done in a very stable location. Example, we did all our treatment camps in the health department, where there was actual examination rooms. It was a full setup, very well done. And screening camp is done in a large scale. We could see 1,200 people, but treatment camp has to be done on a small scale. Example, you can do a dental camp and you can give care to about, at the most, to 70 to 80 people, because you have to finish from 7 o'clock in the morning till by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You have to give back the department to the health department by the evening. Other screening camp advantages were it just brings awareness. Example, if you have a high blood pressure, you can tell the patient you have high blood pressure, but he has to go somewhere else to take care of the blood pressure or the blood sugar. But in the treatment camp, you can treat them. And only disadvantage of screening camp is there is no follow-ups. You see the patient one time a year, and then you have lost them. But in the treatment camp, you can continue to follow them because of the free clinic that we were running on Saturdays. So those patients, we could refer them back to the free clinic where there was continuity of service. And that was very important. In other words, the screening camp served as a foundation for us, but the treatment camp became an extension for us. So that was the difference between the screening. Once we established on the treatment camps, we stopped doing the screening camps afterwards. And the three most important ones they asked us was the dental care. So we started off with the dental hygiene camp as well as the treatment camp. In the treatment camp, we were able to take out in a day up to 252 dental extractions we have done in one day. And the difference between our dentists and the ones who are on practice is they do one tooth at a time. In our camps, we could do full mouth, or at some time with one anesthesia, they were able to do several teeth they could remove. So that was such an advantage, no cost to them. And the dental hygiene camp helped us to keep, help screen all these patients for the treatment camp. So we had 2 hygiene camps, 2 treatment camps. So once we were established with the dental camp, then we took the next one, which was the eye, which was the most difficult camp for us because we were very, it was very difficult to find optometrists on the weekend. So we were planning to give prescription glasses to patients. It's not just reading glasses, prescription glasses, glaucoma, cataract check, all that were done in the eye camps. And it was wonderfully done eye camp in the end. This is where I have called Swami so many times during those camps because come Saturday morning, we were not sure the optometrist will show up, the ophthalmologist will show up, but every single time Swami came through and we've been able to do every year eye camp. And this is the only camp I work with the Lions Club. I usually tend not to associate with other organizations because we don't want to water down Swami's teachings, because whenever you are working with another organization, sometimes the Swami's teachings become different. This is the only organization where you are doing service for your betterment, and that is the most important thing. You are not giving service to others, and that is the difference. And here we are doing the camps for our improvement, not for the people who we are giving service. With that in mind, it's always best to stay with your own organization. Lions Club did not come as another organization. They come just to bring the refractors and also people who needed cataract surgery. We could give them to the Lions Club to connect with the ophthalmologists. And the last, but not the least camp was the podiatry camp. That was basically, I'll show you some of the pictures of the dental camp. This was the director of the free clinic who let us in, which was very nice. And this is the dental hygiene camp, dental treatment camps, and this was the eye camp. And this is the podiatry camp. Podiatry camp was a great challenge, but it came through also for us because one of my interests was to wash the feet of all the homeless. And interestingly, at the entry of the health department, there was a shower where they changed the plumbing because it was not used for 25 years. This is a place where they do, people come with the poison exposure, they do keep it as a toxic room where they clean all the patients. But apparently it was never used, but they opened the shower for us. So we were able to clean the feet of all the people who came for the camp. And then subsequently they would go to the they get a new socks and we clean their feet. Following that, they will have a full exam by the podiatrist. Yes, the podiatrist will examine them, and there is education, and we give them new shoes to all the people who came for the podiatry camp. And usually we had about 200 people for this camp. Yes. And one other camp we just started in 2019 was a personal hygiene camp, which I don't have the picture. We were supposed to do that. It was a wonderful camp. People who lived close to the soup kitchen, who did not take bath and haircuts for months and months, we were able to do a complete personal hygiene camp for them, and gave them the entire set of clothes, including underclothes, and it was also a very well done camp. So overall, these little St. Petersburg area was able to do in a year 7 camps. So every other month we were able to do a camp.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing such wonderful journey. Obviously, there is a lot of information that the experience that can be transferred to other areas within US, wherever the camps are required. Thank you. Now let me go to Rajanji. Brother Rajan, I wanted to find out from you about one of the most important, and it is becoming almost like every year, there are events that are keeping you super busy. Wanted to get your input on how the disaster relief program got started, history, background, and the purpose, more importantly, the purpose of the SAI disaster relief program.
Yeah, I'd like to share the slides. So
yes, please.
No, why not walk through? Yeah, okay. Let's see.
Yeah, we see your pointer there. So you have the screen.
Let me get to the screen. Can you see the slide?
Not yet.
Or I need to take the option here.
Okay.
It's a side-by-side gallery. Side-by-side gallery. Can you do that? Can you see? No.
No. Can you read up the slide for now, please?
Yeah. So it's why disaster relief, the purpose. So it's a Bhagwan Sathya Sai Baba's call. And actually he referred to this it's a direct message. Do not restrict your service. Be alert to the call from everywhere and at all times. Be ready with a smile, a kind word, a useful suggestion, or a pleasant reply. Look for opportunities to relieve, rescue, or resuscitate. Train yourself so that you may render help promptly and well. So again, this is second quote, and also explained the purpose. You are young and possess great energy. You have all the powers of Mother Earth. Despite possessing all the powers of the earth, if you feel that you are powerless, it is a sign of your weakness. Whenever any calamity occurs at any place in the country, you should rush there and help the people. Cultivate the feeling of oneness and participate in service. So when a disaster in the form of earthquake, epidemic, forest fire, hurricane, etc. strikes any part of a country, it can cause catastrophic damage. It potentially kills and displaces thousands of people, destroying homes, building roads, dams, bridges, and general infrastructure, and above all, the livelihood of countless victims. Usually governments, UN agencies, NGOs, non-governmental organizations all over the world respond by launching several relief and rehab initiatives. And unfortunately, due to the massive scale of destruction, these relief programs are not enough. Hence, there's an urgent need of to supplement or step up these relief efforts in some afflicted areas, forgotten and neglected communities. So for instance, during Hurricane Harvey, there was a forgotten community, the Cambodian community in near Houston area, and we were able to, serve that. So it's very important that we do that. So we want to be ready to render help as soon as possible when a catastrophe strikes, to provide emergency assistance to alleviate the pain and suffering of the victims after obtaining all the formal approvals, because that's something very important. Get the approval within the organization from the senior management, but also the governmental or the state or the local approvals. So that's And in an emergency, water, food, medical help, sanitation, and shelter are the most important human needs required immediately and desperately. We have to be ready with trained volunteers to respond quickly with a variety of disaster relief options and resources. So how all this started? So we'll go into the history now. See, Bhagwan, he led by example. He showed us how to be ready and mobilize the Sevadal volunteer force and coordinated the relief efforts in India and then worldwide. So first, Sai Baba, the organization Disaster Relief Missions started officially in 1977 when Swami sent volunteers from Hyderabad to provide aid after a tidal wave hit the coast of Andhra Pradesh. Since then, he has directed relief missions in numerous other disaster emergencies in India as well as the globe. After the 1999 cyclone in Orissa, Sai Baba had 700 homes built for displaced folks. So this is this is how he is teaching us. So when a 7.6 magnitude earthquake struck Gujarat in January 2001, Swami dispatched 50 truckloads of supplies along with Sai volunteers to distribute the aid directly to the survivors. So this is again serving direct, not through other agencies, but our volunteers directly serving the victims. Prior to the tsunami that affected many South Asian countries on December 26, 2004, Sai Baba had instructed volunteers from Tamil Nadu to receive training and to be prepared for any emergency. So these trained volunteers were the first ones to reach the affected areas with all the resources within 24 hours of the devastating tsunami. And continuing with the history, under his guidance and instructions, the disaster management teams in most states in India were formed to train individuals and organizations in various emergency disaster rescue methods and prevention. So now prevention also is very important, emergency prevention. Then he subsequently, Swami guided and formulated the structure of global disaster relief efforts, which were implemented in different countries, following strictly the respective government, state and local regulations and laws. So that's the history. Now the background. So what does Swami want from us? Right? So here's some background to it. It is an observed fact that over the years, countries most prone to natural disasters include India, USA, China, among others. Hence, Baba's directive for us is to be ready not only for the emergency preparedness, but also for the disaster relief service, and then serve the victims and the afflicted communities selflessly with pure love. So seva and pure love, both together. Swami wants the Sai Seva volunteers to be trained first with the disaster relief procedures and be ready with resources and means to help directly. In the aftermath of the catastrophe, he wants us to contribute towards the relief operations after obtaining all the required formal approval. So he's very pertinent about getting all the formal approvals. So then he has instructed to create awareness among the people about the disaster emergencies, how to react, safeguard, protect, rescue, and serve the afflicted. Now in his absence, and now in his absence of physical form, he is our encouragement, inner motivation to carry out these disaster relief efforts. And the way he wants us to serve can be classified at physical as well as spiritual levels. So let me go over the physical level. So this is what Swami is expecting from us. And at a physical level, we must be ready to help or promote human welfare. Feel kind, benevolent, sympathetic to the victims. Feel the victims' pain, their difficulties and suffering. Do seva to alleviate their grief and hurt. Want victims to feel that we love and care about them. Seva should make the difference to bring comfort and joy in their life. Link people so that they can help each other. We should make the recipients to become self-sufficient. Must train the afflicted to earn their own living. So these are on the physical level. Now on the spiritual level, we must connect heart to heart. Treat it as a personal sadhana through service. We must feel service to man with pure intention is service to God. So there, while we are doing service to man, service to God, it just doesn't happen like that. It is with pure motives, pure intentions. Experience realization that God within the volunteer is serving the God in the recipient. We must feel we are all one, the oneness aspect of it. And then experience God, the divine love and the divine vibrations while conducting this seva. Then he also says, love all, serve all with purity, divinity, and unity. So, that's a very important instruction from him. Experience fulfillment in providing satisfactory relief and hope to the recipient. So these are some of the spiritual aspects. So next is preparedness. So I will hand it over to you, then maybe we can come to planning and preparation later on.
Absolutely. Maybe we definitely are, rolling into that one. This probably is the right time to talk about what do we need to do, or how do we need to respond when we hear, see emergencies and disaster situations, let's say within US. What are some of the steps? One thing is we feel as a human being, suffering of fellow human beings is the one that actually motivates us to want to do something. But as the DR committee, disaster relief committee, what are your recommendations as the steps that you want to go through before saying that, yes, this is the one that we want to do?
Yes, so see, again, Swami, he has not only shown by example, but also, he wants us to be familiar with this disaster relief procedures and be ready to help directly. So by his grace and blessings, so these are the sort of things we should be doing. We should train to become a disaster relief service volunteer. So there is a training involved. So, and this training comes, from the experience. So we talk about our experiences and prepare volunteers that way. Then understand science, DR relief teachings and methodologies. So that was the reason, when we went into the history, because he has laid out the methods of how we can help them. So then he also recommended that have the emergency preparedness training. So why we need emergency preparedness? Because let's say typically with the Hurricane Ida, we know it was coming, and we actually sent out the messages that be ready, and so now we do have a separate section on this, on emergency preparedness, and we will go there, go over that sometime later. But so we need to be emergency, we need to have this emergency prepared training. Then this is one of the most important fact, the community emergency response team, that is the CERT training. So in order to go out for any training, you need to have a CERT training, and they give you a certificate. So suppose if I want to go to, say, typically Hurricane Sandy, when I went there, what they do is, if there are officials there, they want to see whether you have been trained, then they will allow you in that area. So again, CERT training, there's the regular training, and then there's advanced training. Once the regular training, we normally go and assist already trained professional people. But with the advanced training, what we do is we can, they give us with the advanced training, you can go to as a first responder. So, and then other aspect is we should be able to size up the situation. So there's again, a training there. Learn to coordinate various relief efforts. Be familiar with the checklist for disaster relief. So we have a checklist of what we need to do when we carry out this DR tasks. And then increase awareness of how to respond quickly with a variety of disaster relief options and available resources. So those are some of the things which help us prepare. Again, one of the things is responding to a disaster situation. See, normally many folks do seva out of comfort and convenience. See, like typically your sandwich seva or going to Nayan seva, these are because you go there because you are comfort. It's your comfort zone and it is convenient for you. But now with this, we have to step up, seek out the real needy, the distressed, and render the seva selflessly. So disaster situation is where this is something where you really go out and seek out. See, I'll tell you, if I may, a short digression here. When we were in Tacloban, the Zone 4 Seva team had come there because we wanted to establish a clinic in Tacloban area because it's a poor country there, just like India. So we had decided to set up a clinic. So we were looking for some buildings to house this clinic. Now there was another project also, building elderly people's nursing home. So we went to survey their land. Now our driver who was driving us, he went further down, and we came across a farm where there was an old man. He had a fight with his wife, and this is a very senior citizen, old man, both of them skinny people. He threw his wife out of the house, and she was living in a dog house. And it's just, happened, we ended up being there. So when we noticed this, we asked what was going on, and we found out that there was a lady who, she was just living there in a dog house, and she practically did not have anything to eat and all that. So our team, what we did was bought a tent. And the next day we went there, we built the tent, and made the lady comfortable, gave her some food, and so she was able to leave. And so that's how we were able to help out. So see, this is something we really need to do. Now coming to planning. So with regards to planning, so number A, sizing up the situation at the disaster relief site. So volunteers must, in a systematic and disciplined manner, follow the 9-step process we have. So in this step, the first, number 1 item is gather all the facts, right? So after all you got all the information, then you assess the damage, whether we can help, and so you try to assess that the damage. Third is consider relief options. So we have various options. What can we do? Fourth is assess your situation, whether you are able to render any assistance. So it's important that you have the skills to help out. So that's number 4. Fifth is establish priorities. So now you may have various tasks, and in there, okay, which needs the topmost attention, which is very urgent. So you establish your priorities. Then you make decisions, and then develop a plan of action, how to handle that, and then take action, and then evaluate progress. So this is a 9-step we have, and we will be teaching this to the volunteers who are part of the disaster relief team. Now, again, relief activities. Coming to the relief activities, so usually the media reports and from personal research, the DRT members with regional offices collect this information and initiate planning meeting for relief efforts. So we start all these meetings, and then identify the disaster areas where list types of supplies and help is needed, preparing and scoping the work required based on our resources. So some of the example of the immediate needs include, and going for that, so these are some of the areas where we can help. So we organize collection drive, maintain inventory, and distribution of the general supplies. So these are our niche expertise, so this is one of the things which Sai devotees can do. So B is provide water purification system. So, this is something we've been doing, like Puerto Rico, in the Grand Bahamas, we have had supply water purification units. Then arrange medical camps for medical or psychological conditions. So we were able to do in Tacloban, at a regular interval, we were able to do and organize medical camps. And so there's just like Gita Bain, mentioned, there are various steps required, similarly in Tacloban or other countries, and you need to meet with the officials and work with them. And now the psychological camp, I'll tell you, in Ecuador, when I went there, so unfortunately we didn't have too many doctors, but Swami found us a psychiatrist for us. And you won't believe, she was an expert on laughing therapy. So we were going around various communities, and she would hold a session and she would make people laugh. Now these are distressed people, they have lost everything. And here we have somebody who is using this laughter therapy and making them feel good. So, this is, amazing. So this is some of the things we can do. Number D, aid for casualty losses that result from the damage to the property. We help out, for the damage. And this could involve filing for claims, because many folks, they may have insurance or they may not have insurance. So you file claims for them, or financial assistance if they don't have insurance. Contacting the regulatory organizations, etc. There may be local organizations, who are willing to help financially, and we have to contact on their behalf. Then another task we can do is help with the debris cleaning, construction, rebuilding process. Then one of the seva activities, cleaning and disinfectant initiatives. So this is what we did at Hurricane Sandy time. We went out in Staten Island as well as New Jersey coastal line, and we went and helped, in the houses and cleaned them and sanitize them. Then financial aid. So some of the folks that don't have any money, you try to get financial help, or within our organization or our centers, we might be able to help, with that. And I can only quote, there was a baby with a hole in the heart in Tacloban, when we were doing a medical camp, and they needed $15,000 to carry out a surgery in Manila. And I just, at our center, and East Brunswick Center, I requested our folks just to pray for that baby. His name was Jaden Legato. And you won't believe, just the prayers, somebody donated $10,000, one person donated $3,000, and like that, we were able to collect $15,000, $16,000 and send it out. And that baby was able to have heart surgery very successfully, and now is living a very healthy life in Tacloban. So see, this is one of the things we can do. Educational initiatives. Educational initiatives, actually, again, in Tacloban, we had an opportunity to do the EHV there, and we got one of the principals in a school, interested. And actually, he found our education and human values program very, very interesting. So he got into this Satya Sai educational, human values program. And so I was able to help out. I helped them coordinate. We had a 3-day workshop, and they were very happy. It was just sad that we didn't stay there longer. But EHV is something we could have implemented there. So, and one thing, the other one is a vocational training. And then another one is provide means of earning livelihood. So, as the saying goes, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. But if you teach him how to fish, he will feed himself for life. And then obviously, we pray, devotional prayers and help. So those are some of the things we can do.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that input. A lot of information. We look forward to hearing more in a separate session that specifically walks us to the preparatory steps, like the CERT. What does it entail? How many members in US we have CERT trained, and so on and so forth. So I look forward to another opportunity with you on that one. Very quickly, let me just reflect on the clock. We are at almost like 30 minutes, maybe 25 minutes to the end of our program. There are just 1 or 2 questions that came through so far, but I do have a few more questions. I want to now switch back to Sister Falguni. Sister Fal, I know you have done a lot of other projects also overseas, especially in India, other than COVID. Just wondering if in case you can share some details so that the audience get to know what are all the projects that can be done outside.
Yes, sure. Let me share with some of the projects. Currently, we have a big project we're working on in Kerala with some of the alumni there. And as you see here, it's Adopt a Village that they've taken up. Taking on, Swami, again, talks about how to get involved with the hands in that. And when you adopt a village, that you have to help them self-sustain themselves as well. And so the alumni team, heading with the alumni team and the state organization and the national team, they were taking on 10 villages this year. helping them with their physical needs, and then going through and seeing what they need for sustainability. So as you see on this first slide here, this was a toilet that was in a condition of what they were using. They rebuilt it, and this is what it ended up being. Like that, as you see here, roof repairs. These are the conditions that they found these villages in, tribal communities, and gone in there to rebuild. This is the after. So this project, what they're gearing for is to Swami's 100th birthday to adopt 100 villages. So that's in 3 years by 2025. Their goal is to take on 100 villages. So we're helping support these projects, and they're in phase 1 of the taking on the first 10 as pilots, and then across the country and with other teams and alumni heading it to help take on other villages across everywhere. So this is a big project that we're helping with this year. These are medical mobile clinics, mobile vans in Maharashtra that we help support, where these vans go out on a regular basis and help with the local communities there, including dental in that. This was a dental mobile clinic that was just inaugurated in Hyderabad. It's about a week or two ago. Fully functional dental van that will go out into the rural communities. Like that, we did one for mobile Karnataka also. This was a picture where at the super specialty hospital, once it was done, Swami had sent left vibhuti on the keys and that. That is the mobile bus on the side there. Another one, this is the inside of that van. This is multi-purpose that is for Karnataka. This one was done for General Hospital, Prashanthi Gram. That was also done in earlier part of 2019. That was also supported by the trust. So these are some of the projects in the last few years. The General Hospital the General Hospital OPD building that was inaugurated in 2016 was another big project that was taken on by the donors of Prashanthi Trust as well. So, we're looking for more opportunities working with the India State President and the national team there to help in other define other communities where these mobile buses can be adopted and taken on to help them with those in other parts of the country as well. But the village project is the bigger one that we're taking on right now.
Fantastic. That's truly remarkable. One quick question of my own is, if in case any of the US members want to be part of this mission globally, is there a process that you would like us to know?
Sure. There's many ways. As you saw, the village project that is taken on, there is other needs that they will have professional support in whatever way you can. I'm sure we can find a place if somebody wants to give their time and expertise, as well as any other way that they want to help with these projects. You can reach out to any of the board members or myself at pttrust@gmail.com, pttrust.usa@gmail.com. is our email address, or mine is at fdesai@desai.com. You have the information. You can certainly contact you and connect with one of us, and we'll see what we can, how we can get you to help.
Fantastic. Thank you. Just a follow-up question on it. The immediate concern is Hurricane Ida. So if, there is an interest from the members in becoming active in disaster relief, and they want to monetarily or through their own skill sets, they want to participate, or is the PT Trust also, Prashanthi Trust also is actively coordinating anything on that?
Yeah, at this time, we haven't looked at the need for the IDA in particular, but we do disaster relief in this country, working with local SI centers. And if there is a center that wants to take on that kind of project, we will certainly help them with that.
I mean, Swami, it's not a coincidence, magically put Rajanji and also you as the panelists here, and we did the disaster. So am I to take it for granted that if at all there is going to be an effort for Hurricane Ida, you two will work together and roll out a plan?
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes. Why not? Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to go back to Dr. Geeta. Let me see. Yes. So Dr. Geeta, there definitely is a lot of interest that you hear from Sai devotees who are in medical profession and otherwise also that want to reach out to the community. Can you share some guidelines or do's and don'ts before initiating a medical camp, especially in this country?
There is no restriction to do screening camps. Anyone can do, there is guideline for screening camps. It's very easy to do. In fact, many regions are doing that in this country successfully. But as I said, it is screening camps is like a one-day thing, and then you wait till the next year, So that's part of the dissatisfaction I had. But I don't look down on screening camps because they are the foundation, because that opens you up with the community. Because in US, it is different than any other countries in the world. If you go to the community and you say you want to help, the first thing they ask you is, what do you want from us? They always think there is some reason that we have come to them. Right. Most of them do not understand the Satyasai organization. Many a times we want to just give. We don't want to take, we want to give. And that concept is very difficult for them to understand. That's why going and working in the free clinic and developing relationship with the community leaders is so important. Like in St. Petersburg area, our Satyasai organization is very well known and very well respected because we have done all these camps. And in fact, if there is any kind of disaster happens in the medical side, they usually call me, and it is, as I said, easy to do the screening side of it. Treatment side can be a problematic thing, and that's where they not only cause medical problems to the doctor who served that day, they can come after the organization, and that's the biggest problem the organization has, to put their names on the service project. So what we have been doing is we've been doing it very with a lot of caution, I should say, because I have coverage from the free clinic, I have coverage from the health department, where all these on-site, if there is any medical problems, we are covered legally. So, and we have to fill out forms. They have to approve all of us. All our background checking is done. All the doctors are checked. So treatment camp, I would caution. But with Swami's grace, we have had no problem ever since we have started that, So it can be done, but you have to be very cautious doing treatment camp. You have to be very involved and do things on the camp day that you can finish it. Example, dental extraction, we can finish it. Dental filling, we can finish it. We cannot do dentures, for example. So, we have to do that in another time, another day. In fact, we got funding for dentures now. Things like that. We can expand, but you have to do the treatment camp with caution. But screening camp can be done. But most important thing, I want every physician to start working in a community clinic. Either it is on a Saturday or one of the days if you get an evening off, because a lot of the doctors work, clinics are open in the evenings also, because a lot of the people do not want to take off from work. So they love evening clinics and Saturday clinics. So this way we can help them. I can use the clinics for clearance. I do hematology clearance. I could do medical clearance. All that can be done in the Saturday clinics. Yes, but it can be done.
Very, very good. I want to take this opportunity to again call out to all our devotees and members to go ahead and then register as medical volunteers. I know, Dr. Geeta, you floated that website or a information page that we shared on our website, and we distributed it to all the service coordinators. So this is a call out to all the service coordinators watching this program, that please reach out to your membership, and whoever is interested and able in the medical camps, especially medical professionals, register. We are actively seeking to keep that list up to date. Thank you.
Thank you for doing that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Rajanji, one question. As the chair of the Disaster Relief Committee for our zone, what's your vision? What do you want from all our members? Can you explain that in, let's say, very quickly, 2 minutes maximum?
Yeah, I'll take less than that.
Okay.
So actually, this is, as our team is being gathered, it's a work in progress, but let me share some things which I have in my mind. So the vision. So we want this SAI disaster relief team to render services with pure love and selflessly to the disaster victims without any discrimination of faith, race, gender, ethnicity, and national origin. So this sounds like our bylaws, but that's what it is, Then encourage the DR volunteers undergo different types of training programs such as CERT, CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, first aid, emergency preparedness, and so on. So those, we need to implement that. Then render all the disaster relief assistance to the victims locally, nationally, and globally as soon as possible. So that means, at the moment, the process, for typically to carry out any seva activity, we have to go for the formal approvals. And sometimes the turnover time is anything from 2 to 3 or even 4 weeks, and sometimes we are too late. So I think this quickness is a very important parameter here. Then also, each one of us, we need to know our limitations. We need to follow safety procedures and work in unity. So that's one of the team building exercise. So that's one of the criteria we have. Then partner with other like-minded organizations to serve the disaster victims in the afflicted areas. So, and then we should be able to use our resource niche expertise, so which I already mentioned before, all the various areas where we can render services. So that's what we should be doing, So for the time being, this is what we have as a vision, but this is subject to change because as we have more volunteers joining, be part of our team, we'll have more ideas, and and I think we will develop good vision, and that's how I feel it.
Fantastic. The next question I have is an open question. Anyone can take, and I hope all of you can take. So Sai centers, some centers are blessed with large participation, a lot of strength, 300, 400 members. And some centers are only 5 families or 10 families. And when it comes to service projects, they may not be able to take big projects, especially on this panel that we're talking about. In order for us to do projects, the ones that you're mentioning, it takes a lot of participation, a lot of support from our members. What's your advice for small centers? How can they still participate in service projects at the center level and keep their members engaged and energized?
Do you want me to jump in here?
Open question. I want to hear from all of you.
Okay, so let me share something we did. So we have in our region 2, Mid-Atlantic region, we have large centers as well as smaller centers. And in 1992, when I was a service coordinator, one of the first things we did, we have in New York City, Manhattan area, we have a Bowery feeding. So every Saturday and Sunday, there is a feeding program going on. So how to do it? So before, it was doing spontaneously. But then we came up with a system where the larger center took the lead and the smaller center, we paired them. And so all the New York centers got together and planned out. So say one week is say Flushing Center is a large center. There's another smaller center. They pair with them, and they do the 9/7. We call it a Bowery feeding in Manhattan, and this has become so successful, and it has been working, and it is still working now. That So I think when you work in harmony and unity, I think this is how you can achieve any. This is a successful. That's how they achieve the success in this project.
Fantastic. Dr. Geeta, I know you wanted to share something.
Yeah, I don't think it's the size of the center, number of families, the size of the service activity is not important at all. We have to realize that even a small job done with good motive and self-improvement, that's all Swami is asking for. He's not asking for big projects, Now, our center is a very small center, Clearwater Center. But what we do is that for all my medical camps or any other service projects, we encourage the families to bring their neighbors, friends. In fact, when I do medical camps, we usually invite even my patients come and be volunteers. That is the best way you can show Swami's work in that setting, because that is the best advertisement for other people to see what Swami's work is all about. So I don't think you have to worry if it is a small center. All you have to have is a big heart, and Swami will guide. That's my motive, and I think we can achieve any activity with his help. Sairam.
Fantastic. Sister Fall, I don't want to forget you.
So I think both Uncle and Auntie here spoke my mind. Small center, what we did in Hartford is we also combined it with the other local center there. and to do the feeding work once a month, and they continue to do it, and that has been happening for almost 30 years. And that brings everybody together that want to do it. And as Auntie said, it doesn't matter the size of what the service is, and it doesn't have to always be going out to serve, right? We can also do it with just our prayers as well. Doing a group prayer, chanting that can be done and send that out, that energy out, can also transform groups. We had a group that was doing prayers every week during the COVID time, and sending prayers out into the country and into India as well. So I think prayers go a long way, and that is also a form of service, and we can't forget that as well. So that's another alternative when there's small group.
Absolutely. Thank you for touching on that one, adding the prayers part of it.
Yeah.
That's where, again, the doership also switches from you to Swami.
Exactly.
With your prayers, you're asking Swami to intervene and help out. And
right.
miraculously, he sends his, his workers, his sevadal from somewhere, and make it happen on your behalf. This has been a very enlightening and very, very interesting panel discussion. 90 minutes doesn't do any justice, but I'm fortunate for this opportunity to talk to all of you. And I'm sure there may be some questions after that they may keep coming, and I will take the opportunity to bring them back to you. Thank you again. God bless. Sai Ram.
Sairam.
Sairam. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Sairam. God bless.
Dear respected elders, brothers and sisters, loving Sairams to all of you. What a wonderful and enlightening day. I like to thank all of you for attending the first retreat of Sri Satya Sai Global Council of USA and the officers of SSSGC USA for putting together this wonderful program in a very short time. This is not possible without Bhagavan's blessings and guidance. Thank you, Swami. Swami has talked about 9 forms of devotion, and the first one is Shravana, listening to the glories of God. Our guest speakers, Mr. Nimesh Pandya and Mrs. Kamala Pandya, very eloquently spoke about Swami's glories and his messages. Here are some takeaways from their presentation. Swami wants perfection in everything we do. Use our action for self-improvement. Everything happens around us is good. That's why Swami blessed us with Global Council. Most importantly, do not get drowned by doership. Swami is the doer. We are all his instruments. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Pandya, for the enlightening presentation. We also watched the wonderful panel discussion, Service to Man is Service to God. Dr. Geeta Kamath elaborated on the medical camps in US, procedures and protocols, and international medical camps, and how to participate and the ways to encourage participation in medical camps in general. Sister Falguni Desai shared her experience of undertaking COVID-related seva in India and shared with us how USA members could take part in service projects in India. Brother Rajan Gayal spoke about disaster relief, team building, disaster relief projects within US and worldwide, and share information on how we all can be prepared for being part of the disaster relief efforts. I would like to thank Dr. Geeta Kamath, Sister Falguni Desai, and Brother Rajan Gaya for the wonderful presentation, and our brother Giridhar for moderating this panel session. Tomorrow, we are fortunate to have Brother Sai Surendranath speaking about Journey to Sai, a Sai student's journey. And our young adults will be presenting a panel discussion. The theme is Finding Purpose in Real Life. Please join us tomorrow. Until that, Sai Ram, and thank you.
दया करो हे करुण निधान साई 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 तुम हो दाता दया करो तुम हो साई कृपा करो तुम हो साई कृपा करो प्रभु तुम साई अंतर्यामी प्रभु तुम साई अंतर्यामी प्रभु तुम साई अंतर्यामी प्रभु तुम साई अंतर्यामी पतिपुरी प्रभु तुम साई अंतर्यामी प्रभु तुम साई साई।
कलियुग के अवतारा साईं बाबा, 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 अरज सुनो प्रतिभा, अरज सुनो प्रतिभा, अरज सुनो प्रतिभा, अरज सुनो प्रतिभा, कलियुग के अवतारा साईं बाबा, कलियुग के अवतारा साईं बाबा, दया के सागर 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 साईं बाबा, करुणामया साईं प्रेम प्रदाता, करुणामया साईं प्रेम प्रदाता, करुणामया साईं प्रेम प्रदाता, करुणामया साईं प्रेम प्रदाता, दीन जनों के साईं बाबा, दीन जनों के साईं बाबा, भक्त जनों के साईं बाबा, भक्त जनों के साईं बाबा, सत्य सनातन साईं बाबा, सत्य सनातन साईं बाबा, सत्य सनातन साईं बाबा, सत्य सनातन साईं बाबा, कलियुग के अवतारा साईं बाबा, कलियुग के अवतारा साईं बाबा, अरज सुनो प्रतिभा, अरज सुनो प्रतिभा, कलियुग के अवतारा साईं बाबा, कलियुग के अवतारा साईं बाबा, दया के सागर साईं बाबा, दया के सागर साईं बाबा, करुणामया साईं प्रेम प्रदाता, करुणामया साईं प्रेम प्रदाता, दीन जनों के साईं बाबा, दीन जनों के साईं बाबा, भक्त जनों के साईं बाबा, भक्त जनों के साईं बाबा, सत्य सनातन साईं बाबा, सत्य सनातन साईं बाबा, सत्य सनातन साईं बाबा, सत्य सनातन साईं बाबा, कलियुग के अवतारा साईं बाबा।
पतित पावन भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् अशीमवहु वहिष्ठेमस्ति उष्टास्ति उष्टाहमय शतशाय वहिष्ठायशि नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि श्मा इस्राएल अदोनाय एलोहेनु अदोनाय अदोनाय Adonai Echad. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. La ilaha illallah, Allah, Allah. 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 साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति